today, the plan is to go to the gym. It snowed about 6 inches last night. It's not incredibly cold out, but there's snow intermittently on the sidewalks and roads. So it makes it a little hard to do a tempo run or any kind of speed work. Gonna go hit the treadmill today. Gonna see if I can get Zwift to work with the treadmill. I haven't tried that yet, though if it does work, that's gonna be great. Just make the mundane treadmill work a little bit more enjoyable. The workout today is 45-minute tempo runs. Probably start 25 minutes, kind of ease into it, and then have a 10-minute build up to race pace. The block I'm in right now is technically a half marathon block, so that race pace for me will be kind of low 8s, high 7s. And then after we top out with that, then we'll move to just a cool down for another 10 minutes and finish out the run that way. Did start the morning with some mobility and some stretching, kind of getting warmed up for the morning and then hanging out. Did breakfast already this morning. It's currently 12:30, so doing this run a little later than I normally would, but kind of how the day fell. Gonna go to the gym now and we'll check back in after. All right, workout done. Back at the house now. Overall, good workout for treadmill. Pretty solid. Went by quick, which is always nice mentally. As far as pacing, so with the treadmill, obviously, if you're not adjusting for incline or doing that, you're just running flat, you're going to be able to run faster than you probably will, especially where I'm located. I'm in Colorado, very hilly. When I'm running outdoors, my paces are typically a little bit slower, but when I'm on a treadmill, I can push that up a little bit. For this workout, as I mentioned, 45-minute tempo. Started 25 minutes easy. That was around 9:15 to 9:05 a mile, kind of in that range. And then at 35 minutes, went for a 10-minute tempo build. So kind of stepped up every 2 minutes. Ended up finishing the last several minutes at 7:04. Faster than I thought I was gonna go, but again, felt good, felt pretty strong today. Overall, good workout. Then just did the cool down again, back to that kind of 9:04, 9:15 a mile. Overall, solid. One thing with treadmill that is always tough, but something that I try to focus on is really keeping your cadence consistent when you are running outdoors. Typically, you try to keep a higher cadence, and that's what's gonna propel you forward. On a treadmill, it's easy to get lax in that because the tread's moving for you. You don't have to propel yourself forward. So it's easy to pull yourself on that treadmill, engage the quads too much, engage the lower legs too much, which can cause, overuse, strain, just overall tightness. I can definitely feel my Achilles and shins be a lot tighter doing treadmill work, even though I do try to conscientiously, push and drive. But it's just something that you gotta kind of keep consistently engaging, especially when you're running on a treadmill. It's harder to kind of keep that forward momentum and keep that drive going. I know I did mention before I was going to try to see if Zwift would work on the treadmills at the gym. Good news is they could work. Bad news is if there are a lot of people there, if your gym has a lot of treadmills that have the same computer system, it's going to be impossible to figure out which treadmill is yours. You could sit there for an hour and I guess select through every Bluetooth, but I kind of abandoned that quickly. If you happen to be one of few people there, it'd probably be easier to figure out, but just something to check. If your gym maybe only has a couple treadmills, that could be a great thing for you, especially in the winter or when you're just using a treadmill to kind of add a little bit more excitement to those sessions. Today is Sunday. I am getting some groceries so that I have food for the whole week. I spent a lot of time in the past working out, not eating well, and not eating well leads to terrible training and feeling like crap all of the time. I try to, as consistently as I can, get food on Sunday, Saturday, whatever day of the week, and then have it where I don't necessarily even have to make all of it that day, but at least I have it on hand so that I can make meals. I have food. It's not something where I'm tracking calories, but at this point I have a good idea of how much I need to eat to sustain the training that I have. And so having a good option of foods and proteins and carbs and different things at my disposal is super helpful, because then I can throw things together if I don't already have stuff pre-made. Doing that now, and then today is long run day, which means I am doing an hour and 45-minute workout, which honestly is the longest run I've done since my marathon build back in 2020. It's a bit intimidating, especially because it is a 3-1 workout, which means I'm supposed to increase my pace for the last third of the workout, have a negative split, which also kind of adds to that level of intimidation because it's not only the longest run I've done, it'll probably end up being around a half marathon, but we're adding pace and building that up. And the training program that I'm using right now is just Hal Hingden. If you Google that, it's easy to find. I'm doing the advanced half marathon training, and I am in the second 6 weeks of that training right now. It's definitely starting to build, kind of going up to peak week, but while I am excited for this workout, it's also a little bit intimidating. Also, it's cold today and icy, and so I'm going to be running on a treadmill, which I know I don't love treadmill running. A lot of people don't, but I really try to take it as an opportunity to work on my form, work on my cadence, and also take it for what it is. It's not fun, but neither is a lot of running. And honestly, if you're running because it's fun, you're not going to be running for very long or in a sustainable way. Taking it and just having it build your mental fortitude, especially on long runs and runs where you're doing hard work, is super helpful. It is a grocery store type of day. We're running around doing all types of things, so I'm just trying to get food where I can. I'm going to Locavore right now and I'm going to get some food. Trying to prioritize protein as much as I can because I'm pretty light on protein to begin with this morning. I've really only had kind of snacks and things. I did have a protein shake on the way here, and I added some Element to try to up my electrolytes, potassium, all those types of things, since I know I'm going to be sweating probably a little bit more than normal, since the gym is typically not the coolest place to run. Tip on protein and Element: if you get the flavorless one, it's delicious. If you add it to any kind of flavor, it just kind of makes it taste like a salted version of whatever you're drinking. So I've super enjoyed that recently. Again, just trying to prioritize proteins and carbs so that I'm fueled up for this run. What I get? I'll show you what I got. Got some Boulder chips, carbs. Got a turkey croissant sandwich. And then I got a couple different bars, really to kind of bring up the protein, but also not be overly filling. The chips in the sandwich will already be filling enough. So this is really just kind of getting in extra calories, extra protein. Altogether, probably gonna be eating around 700, 800 calories maybe between the chips and everything. Because I'm eating before I'm running, trying to make sure that I'm getting in enough food, but not feeling and showing up to the run super full. Helps digestionally as you're running, but also just helps you be energized when you show up, so you're not groggy, feeling like your body's doing a bunch of other stuff while you're trying to run. Yeah, just helpful to do bars if you're eating before you go and do your workout. About to go to the gym for this workout, but wanted to make a quick note on fueling right before and during workouts. Because this is a long workout, over an hour, I'm gonna do 2 gels. One at probably 45-ish minutes, and then one heading towards the end as I'm building, finishing the workout. That second gel really accomplishes 2 things. Make sure that I have enough fuel energy to complete the workout, the paces that I'm pushing. Also just practice really taking in fuel while running quicker, which is helpful because most of the time that you're going to be interacting with gels or other types of waters, intake is during a race. If you can practice at quicker paces, it just helps you feel more natural and at ease when you're doing it come race time. The other piece is I'm going to drink the 16-ounce shaker bottle, 1 scoop of G1M Sport, just some extra electrolytes and carbs. Make sure that I'm ready to go for this run. Well, that was quite a workout, to say the least. Now, as I mentioned in a previous part of the video. That hour 45 run is probably one of the longest runs I've done since my marathon training back in 2020. Already a little daunting, plus had the extra little fun bit at the end where we were increasing tempo towards the last third of the workout. I'll dive into that piece and what I ended up doing, but I just kind of wanted to go through the workout, some things that I noticed while I was going through it, and some maybe tips or helpful things that I kind of realized doing a longer treadmill workout that I hadn't necessarily thought of in the past. So starting off, treadmill speed. Now, when you go out for a run, you just think, I'm just going out, you're kind of used to, paying attention to a certain pace, and that's kind of your target. And it's easy to fluctuate up and down depending on the terrain. I live in a hillier area, so, my pace may fluctuate as I run, right? Different muscles are being engaged as I go up and down hills. So you get a kind of natural reprieve running in an outdoor setting versus a treadmill. You're going the same speed, the same level of surface, in this case for over an hour, and it really just kind of starts to fatigue the muscle. You're doing the same motion over and over again. You're not getting any kind of cardiovascular break because you're kind of just steadily building. Now, that's great because it's helping you build cardiovascular load. And I'll actually throw a quick snippet of my heart rate data right here. You can kind of see that it trends upwards slightly throughout the entire first hour. And then at that point, obviously going into the final third, that's where I start to build and you see the heart rate grow a little higher, which leads me into my next point. When you're doing a long workout, and this is something that just don't have experience doing terribly long workouts on treadmills that aren't mine, I'm assuming gym equipment and treadmills at standard gyms, if you just do a quick start, it's only gonna let you go for an hour. So in this case, I got to an hour and the treadmill started to shut off, taking me into a cool down automatically. Obviously not what I wanted, not the end of the world, just started a new program and did the next 45 minutes. If you start your own workout and manually input that, you can put in an hour 45 and it won't shut you off. Beneficially, at the end of the hour 45, it would take you automatically into that cool down, which would actually be helpful in that scenario. Just something to keep in mind there, not something that I necessarily thought about. I just jumped on the treadmill and started running, assuming that it would go as long as I needed it to go. The other piece, and this is something that I've noticed, especially in the gym that I go to, they have fans. They actually have a lot of large fans, and that typically does a decent job of kind of keeping airflow. Particularly, I've noticed on the treadmills and certain different treadmills that I run on at that gym, there are pockets where the air doesn't really seem to circulate from those fans. So really just kind of getting a feel for how warm your gym is. It's an indoor space. Even if it's on the cooler end for a large space, naturally, if you're in a cardio area, you're in a gym with a lot of people, it's probably gonna hover between 68 and 70 degrees, which is fairly warm for running, especially sustained effort. Definitely something that I've been conscientious of trying to do is wearing minimal clothing as far as shorts, tops, shirts that just allow a lot of flow and kind of heat off flow from the body. One thing I wish I did have in this scenario was just a water bottle with some ice water in it, treating it like a hotter long run on a day outside where it's hot, just to get a little bit of reprieve when you are feeling hot, feeling stuffy. It tends to get humid in some gyms. That adds to it as well. So just something that might be nice and something I'd probably do in the future. Now to get into the workout piece of it, first hour was really just cruising. It's really just kind of aerobic building. First hour was basically 9 minutes, 9:15 a mile, around there, kind of gradually building up. I do have the Strava links. Feel free to go take a look. Hold me to my word as far as the paces. And then once we got to an hour and 15 minutes, I started going up 0.2 miles an hour every 5 minutes. That basically took me from a 8:36-ish all the way down to a 7:24. Now in the last couple minutes, I did push it up a little bit because I was feeling strong. You're kind of getting that second wind as you're pushing harder towards the very end. Really wanted to finish pushing myself and getting that heart rate up fairly high. Overall though, great workout. Again, using the treadmill for what it is. Mentally, it was tough. There were times where my body wasn't feeling great, just kind of stiffness from the repetitive motion, the other factors as far as heat and those types of things. But overall, great workout. and definitely recommend doing those. I'll definitely do those more often just because it allows you to really kind of stay focused and work on that pace and push yourself a little harder as far as paces go. One last thing I want to mention that is nice about this program as opposed to other programs that I've done in the past is every time you move up to a longer long run, you do these kind of, I guess, quasi tempo runs in the larger formats. Last couple weeks I did a hour and 30-minute long run, and then I'm moving up to an hour 45 and doing the harder version. Next week I will do just an hour and 45-minute all aerobic long run. I like this because it gives you a level of confidence when you move up to either, you know, more mileage or in this case more time, because you know that you've done it in a harder way, right? You've done the aerobic plus the build. Now to just go out and do the aerobic, you can enjoy it, especially if you're outside. Maybe go on a little bit of a more difficult route because you know you can handle it. So that's one thing that I've really appreciated about this particular training as opposed to others that I've done in the past. That's gonna be it for this video. I really appreciate you watching. If you liked it, please subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm gonna try to do at least 2 videos a week going forward, Monday nights and then Friday nights. Mondays are gonna be capping the weekend just like this, and then Fridays I'm gonna have kind of topical videos that go throughout the week, also covering training. They'll cover some kind of more high-level topics as far as running. Really look forward to going on this journey with everyone and documenting my running going forward. See ya.